everybody, welcome to a Thursday edition of Box Seats. I'm your host, Frank Holder. First of all, let me make sure you understand the type of show you're watching. This is a show where we talk about sports with comedians. And of course, we're going to have our comedic take on what's going on and what goes down in the sports world with, of course, some seriousness, but a lot of comedy. So first up, let me bring in my man Talent, who's been in the comedy business for a very, very long time. You know, we love to talk sports with him. Of course, he's not even a comic. He's been in the comedy game. So Talent, how you doing, brother? How's everything?
I'm good, man. Well as can be expected, brother. Got my new towel on, so I'm representing comedy to the fullest.
Yeah, I see that, bro. It looks really, really good. Next up is my man, Mr. Rodney Perry. Rodney Perry, brother, how you doing, brother? How's everything?
It's all good, man. I'm just out here in these streets. I'm visiting my daughter out in Houston. I got my new product, the fuzzy pillow, and this is my new product. So, and I learned from Tyler, you got to sell stuff. You got to sell stuff.
I don't see the Rodney Perry logo on that, so maybe next time, right?
It's coming. That logo's next week. It's Amazon from Japan.
Next up is my man, the connoisseur in the sports world, Mr. Amir Sealy. Amir, how you doing today, brother? How's everything?
I'm good. It's beautiful out here in NYC. As y'all can see, I'm out here in these streets. This weather is incredible. Get out, enjoy the weather. Get your sun on. Get your sun on. You got to.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. Thanks for joining the show, man. We appreciate it.
I don't like when Amir be looking light skinned. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit.
We're going to have to talk about that, man, because your background looked real good today, bro. Look real good. You know what I mean? It looked real good. All right, let's jump into the show. Normally, we always start out with the show with the COVID report. Yesterday, I said something about the International Olympic Committee getting ready to decide and everything else, and they're having a voting today. They're having a vote today with the Tokyo officials and everything else. The vote is supposed to be whether or not they're going to delay or not the Olympics. I can't find too many reports on that. I only saw one article, but I wanted to say it because Talent, this is something that we be talking about every day. You know what I mean? Like it's something, and I don't think they should be moving forward with it. But what do I know? You know what I mean? So, go ahead, Talent. Hello. Look like Talent.
Look like he froze.
Look like he froze.
I got a bad reception. Let me come out and come back in.
Okay. All right. So anyway, we're going to continue on with the stories and everything else. Rodney, you want to mention something about the Olympic Committee and voting today?
I mean, the Olympics is going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't care if y'all don't like it or not. The little girl just ran a 10.37. The Olympics is going to happen. So y'all don't worry. Get your little COVID feelings. It's about to go down.
Yeah, I agree with that too, man. Talent, you in there now, so I guess he jumped out. I mean, what you think about this, man? What's your thoughts?
You know what? I have to agree with Rodney on this one. I think that, besides obviously, how we're feeling about everything, you got a Olympic swimmer, a sister who's an Olympic swimmer. You got that young man, Trayvon, he's been the best sprinter in the world this year for the 100 meters. And, even though for us, like you said, we putting safety over everything else, a lot of these people, this is their opportunity and they're grasping that moment regardless. So we have to be, mindful of that as well. We might not like it, but this is their moment to shine. So we got to let them shine.
Right. Talent, what do you think since you popped back up in here? What do you think about the Olympics, man? I know we talk about it every day. What's your thought?
Well, I mean, hopefully, do we get word that they cancel it, or we still going back and forth?
Well, the Olympic Committee is supposed to be voting with the Tokyo officials and city officials today, whether or not to at least postpone it. That's actually it's probably happening right about now because they're 12 hours ahead.
Fingers across, brother. I hope that they come up to, cooler minds prevail and it gets postponed. Like I said, the word cancel can be changed to postpone. You don't have to get fret. Oh my God, we're gonna lose all. No, you can still make money. Everybody can still get what they're promised. You just postpone it for safety. That's all you got to do, bro.
Yeah, right. Rodney Perry, I'm gonna start out with you, man, with this first hot topic. The hot news just dropped about an hour ago. Rick Carlsile got rehired again as Indiana Pacers head coach. Interesting backstory is Rick Carlsile quit as head coach of the Dallas Mavericks. Now, I don't know what your thoughts are about this, Rodney Perry, but it says a lot when an NBA coach walks away from a head coaching position, supposedly at one of the best NBA franchises and everything else in the business, and goes to one that's not top tier and everything else. You know what I mean? It says a lot. Now, I don't know if this is saying something about Luka. I don't know. I don't even know what the backstory is, but when you hear about this, man, that he walked away from one of the cushiest jobs to go to a not so cushy job. What's your thoughts on this, Ryan?
You know what I'm seeing as a bless you, as a ongoing theme in the NBA and in football for that matter is power. You know, so I would imagine he's going to a situation where he has more power, and maybe he didn't have the power he wanted out there in Dallas, and so he's making a move to a place where he knows he can get power, a place he's been before, a place they hold him in a certain reverence, and power is everything, man. That's what I think. Now,
talent, I will say this. I think that what Roddy said is exactly right, but I also think that they're giving too much power to the star of the NBA team who's only 21 years old, too. I think that had a lot to do with him walking away because he's an old school dude. You know, he played with the Celtics. He came from the Celtics tree and everything else. He was one of the point guards that came off the bench with Larry Bird. He used to have to do it, but you know, Bill Fitch was the headstone type of coach. You know what I mean? If y'all remember Bill Fitch, that's what he's basically. I always look at him and think of Bill Fitch, and that's what he's modeling his coaching ability like. Like he's strong, sturdy type of dude. That's what I think, and I don't think he likes this. What's your thoughts, Talent?
Well, I think Rodney hit the nail on the head. What he said, you know, he's trading the city for power. Like that makes all the sense in the world. Like you could be in the best, biggest city or market, but have the most minimum amount of power, and then a guy over here with a lesser market say, "Hey, yeah, we know we're Indiana, but we'll give you the world, and you'll have all the power in the world." It makes sense to go take that position. You know, all he did was he quit a nice, cushy job at Macy's and went to Family Dollar.
But he's part owner at Family Dollar.
But they put him down as part owner.
Amir, what's your thoughts on this, man? What do you think?
You know, again, this is one of those funny situations. I'm not 100% sure that it was a power thing. I think that to your point, a lot of the newer or the older coaches are finding that these newer players, they don't necessarily take coaching the same way players of the past have. And I think it's a challenge for both sides. I think we are finding now that players who and coaches who, you know, have certain mind frames and mindsets have, you know, to do a better job of getting on the same page. Thankfully, you know, and as we can see, he was quickly picked up by somebody else. Now, maybe a person of color may not have been picked up just, you know, as quickly as he was. But the point is, I think that there's a power struggle like you guys are saying. But the power struggle is something that's going to have to be addressed. It doesn't make a difference what city you run to.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with that one. Now, next hot topic I want to talk about is yesterday, Rodney, you missed this conversation. We were talking about transgenders and everything else and the Olympics and everything else and all this other stuff. Well, it looks like another transgender named Cece Telfer, he is, or he or she, depending on how you look at it, is unable to run the Olympic trials.
It's a she.
Okay.
If it's a guy trans into a girl, you got to say she. We'll go.
Oh, well, there you go. Thank you for educating me. Because I don't know.
They. What about they?
I can say, okay, how about
if that's one of the pronouns, they get to pick their pronouns, so you got to just check the list.
Okay, yeah. Can I say it? Can I finish the story and say it?
You cannot say it. You cannot say
don't
it.
say it. It?
I don't know what else.
You're going to have to fight. Well, you got to fight somebody. Just say she.
Don't do that.
All right. Shim. I'm going to say Shim. Can I say Shim?
You can't say Shim at all.
Frank, you're trying to get canceled.
You're going to get us all kicked off.
One day you're looking for sponsors. The next day you're being disrespectful.
No, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I don't know what to say.
Just say she. Just say she.
She. Okay, there you go. She. Okay, due to eligibility roles, she has low testosterone, which blew me away. Low testosterone. They're not having enough testosterone, which I didn't even know they tested testosterone. To be able
Testicles?
No, it's testosterone. It's testosterone.
I'm trying to stay along the guidelines. I really am.
No, but go ahead. I want to hear this because I did the story, the powerlifter. Y'all did the powerlifter story?
Yeah, I did that yesterday. This is the running.
This is a different person. Okay.
Yeah, it's a different person. This person was tested. She was trying to qualify for the Olympic trials to run in the race, the 400 meter. But because she had low testosterone, he was not able to qualify for the Olympics, which begs the question that, like, I didn't even know they tested for testosterone. You know what I mean? Like a testosterone level. Like, Rodney, I'm gonna start with you, man. I don't know. It makes sense. No sense to me. So why even add transgenders to Olympic sports?
So wait.
What's your thought?
So let me understand what we're saying here. We're saying it was a man transitioned to a woman, right? And the testosterone was too low,
right?
And he didn't because of. But that's okay. So here's the issue for me with this whole conversation. If you're a man, if you're born a man, you have certain things. You have muscle mass, you have testosterone, and that all as a cocktail to make you stronger and/or faster. And so the idea of competing against women that don't have that and never had that is unfair to me. But what the Olympics have said is that trans women can compete against non-trans women. But I believe it gives them an unfair advantage. But this story is saying that this woman, she ended up not qualifying because her testosterone is sank too low.
Right. That's it exactly. Which just blows up the whole thing.
But women have very little testosterone anyway. So either she's using the testosterone to help her, and she's like, in essence, a man, or she let the testosterone is low, like a real woman would be, and she can't compete.
All I know is I'm confused. I have to ask other people, like, cause all the pronouns. I'm not even trying to be funny. It just confuses me because I can't even tell with the wording now if it's a man trying to be a woman or a woman trying to be a man. And I just think that if you are in the Olympics, if you're born a man, that's what you're running. If you're born a woman, that's what you run at. That's the way I look at it. Talent, what's your thoughts?
More nuanced than that, but go ahead.
It is.
I'm still stuck on testicle myself.
Pause.
Who is testing these testicles? Listen, the funniest thing about this story, the hell with the story, the funniest thing is the struggle of Frank trying to say testosterone. He been saying testosterone.
Testicles.
He drive a Tesla. How much is a textbook? It's testosterone. And the sad thing is, he's a man, for real. Like, he didn't even transfer over. He was born like this. So here's my thing. I'm with Rodney on you transfer over, you trans, and that the whole point of becoming a woman from a man is for your estrogen to go up and your testosterone levels to go down. And for somebody to say that it's too low and it didn't test high enough, it is very weird. It's very contradicting and it's very weird overall. And to Frank, to help Frank out, Frank, don't think it's just you. It is very confusing. The pronouns that they want to use for themselves, it's kind of, but it's going to take a lot of getting used to. That's all.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that because maybe 10 years from now, it'll be no big deal and we'll all understand it. But right now, while it's transitioning, I'm having a difficult time. What about you, Amir? What's your thoughts?
Yeah. This whole thing just has me confused. But, at the end of the day, I just tend to lean on the ideology of, like you said, if you were, to me, specifically born in a specific state, then it makes sense that you would stay in said state. But I guess because of, the way the world is now and all the new nuances we have going on, it's going to be a while before we really get a handle on all of this. So it's a wait and see kind of situation whereas I'm concerned.
Yeah, I can't even I can't disagree with anything Amir is saying because honestly, I think it sorts itself out. We got some issues to talk about. Rodney Perry, yesterday we talked a lot about the pitching and everything else was going on in Major League Baseball. Last night, there were some more pitchers and more difficult decisions and everything else, more things happening in baseball. And it looked like somebody else, a couple other people might get hurt. And, of course, more tempers got raised. In the last 48 hours, while they're checking these sticky substances and while they're checking the pitchers on the mound and everything else, it is raising the temperature, especially of people pitchers who are getting really upset on this sticky situation, no pun intended. Do you think Major League Baseball should pull back now to say, you know what, this isn't working, and let's take a look at this at the end of the season, because it's throwing some of the rhythm off of the pitchers. It's throwing some of the rhythm off of the hitters. It's again another thing interrupting the baseball game, which they don't need. What's your thoughts, Rodney Perry?
I mean, baseball, like you said, is already slow as hell. But let's look at it like this: they're not randomly checking these people. Like, somebody is spilling the beans, somebody is telling, somebody is snitching, or whatever you want to call it, but they're not randomly looking. They're looking because they know something is there. And the pitchers are obviously slicker than the people that are checking it, because they throw that ball out the damn stadium and keep you from looking at it. So, like, cats are not getting caught, but it's taking time. So I wonder, what are they doing to disguise the ball, or they figured out a way to wipe off the substance from the ball or something like that? Who knows? But if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying to win.
Listen, at the other day, he rubbed his hand in his head. You know what I mean? He did this a couple of times, took his hat off, rubbed his hand in his head, and people were upset about that too. I don't know, man. Tyler, you tell me what you think.
I think they all cheating. I think baseball's the type of sport that everybody got to cheat. It's boring if you don't. Let's keep it real. If you ain't trying to cheat, like you said, you ain't trying to win, you ain't cheating. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying to win. And you got to cheat. You out there with nothing to do. You got sunflower seeds. You're looking around waiting for something to happen. Somebody gonna cheat. That's how you know the sport is bad. When the most exciting thing that I'm looking at the sport, I'm looking at this dude in the back in the outfield. I'm like, I wonder if that's ranch.
Ranch sunflower seed?
What flavor you think we got out there?
Oh, hilarious. Hey, if y'all sit there, y'all watch the show, you want to join the discussion, I posted the link. You can join the discussion to ask Rodney Perry, Talent, or Amir some questions. Hell, you can even ask me a question if you want. The link is posted if you want to ask questions and dial in. Amir, tell me what you think about these pitchers still being upset 48 hours later after the rules being still. What you think?
You know what? I think this one is another one of those situations that is kind of comical, because to points that you guys have made early in the week, most of these guys, I'm assuming, have been pitchers their entire lives. So it begs to, differ. Have you been, using substances since you was like 9 years old and, 7 years old? Like, when did you decide that you needed substances in order to, kind of get the job done? But the bigger thing is, baseball always needs some sort of infusion, because to the point of how boring it can be, especially if you're not inebriated or if there's not a lot of hits going on, you need something to be excited about. A fight every now and again, obviously, is, just like in hockey, kind of gets the adrenaline pump. So, you don't want to see anybody get hurt, but you kind of want to see something happen. So at least you got something to talk about on your way home.
Right. Great point. Rodney Perry, yesterday we talked about the Olympics, guys who are making the Olympics. We talked about James Harden being on the Olympic team. We talked about, of course, KD being on the Olympic team. This morning, news comes out that James Harden pulled out of being in the Olympics. He's like, he doesn't want to be involved because he has his hamstring injury and everything else. I did the proposition yesterday saying, why are these guys at a certain age even playing in the Olympics anyway? Because they're injury prone. I think Olympics should be literally for the younger dudes, you know what I mean? Like the Trey Youngs of the world and Devin Bookers, these guys. Like, these guys should be in the Olympics or anything else. But hey, right now I don't make the rules and everything else. What's your thoughts, James Harden pulling out of the Olympics?
Well, I mean, when you're not healthy as you should be, you have to pull out, and that's just a fact. I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever been in these situations, man, but
oh god,
if you ever in like kind of a dark space, you got to find a way You got to find a way to get out of there, man. You got to get out of
The
there.
man said, if you ain't healthy, you gotta pull out. If you ain't healthy, you shouldn't be healthy. Right.
You got to. And nobody likes it, but sometimes you just gotta get out of there.
Nobody likes it.
And usually it'll be a little tingle, and that's when you know it's time to go. So I'm sure James Harden felt that tingle. He's like, I'm out of here. I'm pulling out. And so good for him to have his spidey senses on and feel that tingle and get out of there.
Yeah. It looked like his pull-out game was on point, huh? It was great, huh? Talent.
That's just vulgar, Frank.
Hey, he pulled out at the great point in time. It was great. Talent.
I think that he's in that position right now. Position. These guys are two things is going on. These are guys that are trying to get better from these little nagging injuries for one, but for two, he's in that place where they just lost, and how you have that bad day or that bad game or that bad show. You don't want to talk to nobody. I don't think he want to be around people like that, and the work that it's going to take. They got to put work in. When we sign up for the Olympics, that's work. So he's coming. He just lost, so he's laid off for a minute, right? Do I go back to work and do all that again for the Olympics, or do I just say, you know what? There'll be another Olympic. Let me pass out on this one right here. So I get it. I mean, the dude's injured, and you lost. You're a little bitter.
Yeah, but not only did he lose, talent, he lost, and his boy CP3 is still in it. You know what I mean? I think that's like a little rubbing salt and everything else, because him and they had a big falling out. Was it 2 years ago? Amir, what's your thoughts on this, man?
It's funny that Talent brought up, the fact that he lost because, on the adverse side, like you said, Kevin Durant has decided to join. And I think I stated this a day or so ago on one of the other shows. You got some guys who just love to play the game. And I think, for some of these guys, it's just that. They want to play the game. They love playing it. They love being, on that stage. As, I shared with y'all, Kevin Durant just loves playing basketball. He's one of them dudes who would show up in your neighborhood and you look up and be like, why is Kevin Durant, here in my playground, in the playground here in my neighborhood? But he seems to be one of those kind of guys. On the other hand, for, somebody like Harden, because of, the way the season ended for them this year and the possibilities of what could happen next year, obviously everybody healthy and, everybody, coming back with the same energy and the same mind frame and mindset, they have something to prove. So you want to be, in as good a shape as you can possibly be in to hopefully get that mission accomplished if, that's with the situation they're going to be in next year. So, I think it's a person-to-person, kind of choice that we're seeing here with the Olympics and why some guys are deciding to be a part of it and some guys are deciding to pull out.
But pull out. But listen, here's the thing. The reason why I would compare him to the Durant thing, you're right, Durant loves the game, but Durant's a winner now. So even though he lost this, he still can hold his head up high, and I got my chip. You know what I mean? Like, Harden still, the chip has still evaded him. Like, so he would have to go play on the Olympic team with, first of all, with a couple of players that just whoop his ass.
Yeah. And
I don't want to get on that bus. Who want to get on that bus? The guy who won, he the first one on the bus, waiting for you to walk down that aisle. As soon as you get on the bus, Joel, I smoked you.
And he might be doing this, holding his ring up his face.
Hey, he going to give you that because everybody do this now because the ring finger.
Yeah, he might do that. Like, I can see that happening. Rodney Perry, man, I want to start out with you because yesterday we talked about Kyrie Irving and the Nets having some discussions in the background saying, hey, things are not seeming like going too well. As soon as we get off the air, I saw another report comes out about the Nets would listen to anybody who made an offer for Kyrie Irving. Literally, I saw that about an hour and a half after we got off the air yesterday. Now, if you're the Nets, if you're the Brooklyn Nets, and you're having problems with Kyrie Irving, Rodney Perry, do you trade him?
I wouldn't jump the gun and do it. I mean, we're looking at an abbreviated season. Everybody's plagued with injury. Even the gimpy people that was always hurt was joined by other guys that's never hurt, and they were hurt. So you really can't evaluate a guy based on the season, his physicality, and Kyrie was there. He didn't fall apart. I don't think. I mean, if I was them, I wouldn't clean house with Kyrie Irving at this juncture. No.
Okay, but I think the problem is, Rodney, is that I think they're talking about what's happening behind the scenes. I don't think it's on court play. I don't know, but talent. If it's behind the scenes and they're having bad issues with everything else with Kyrie Irving, and it's as bad as people are starting to say, would you trade Kyrie?
I wouldn't. I would do everything in my power, and therapy is not excluded. I would do everything in my power to try to keep Kyrie, because I got to admit, this past season, we seen a whole different Kyrie on the court. Talent-wise, skill-wise, we seen a whole different Kyrie, and dude, he's in a class by himself at that position. So I would fight tooth and nail. We live in a fickle time, like, the times are real different, and the game is real weak, where people get upset. They don't win this year. They switch teams and try to win over there. They don't win. They switch. Like, there's no more building that thing anymore. We're in a microwave days. So knowing that I'm in those days, I would really go to bat and try to fix this thing, whatever it is.
Yeah, I agree with that part. What you think, Amir?
I just think that it's interesting that, we're looking at three separate organizations, and maybe some of it is falls on Kyrie's shoulders as well. Maybe there is something to some of the information that's being put out there as far as who he is as a human being and as an individual. As a basketball player, obviously he's top notch and bar none. But just like any and every other sport, we have to think to ourselves that when we're looking at what they who they are as people, that plays a major factor in team chemistry and things like that. And if for some reason he can't seem to play well with others, that could be something that they need to worry about, because no matter what happens, once they get to those moments where you got to depend on your team member, if he's not prepared to be a part of that band, that could always keep them from accomplishing their goals. So it's interesting.
Like you said, Amir, it's interesting that we have three separate organizations and three separate issues with Kyrie Irving. And the common denominator in all three is Kyrie Irving. No matter how you look at it, it's Kyrie. So I don't know. Let me ask you this, Rodney Perry. I'm going to keep this thing on, because I do want to talk about the game in a second. Jay Williams used to play basketball professionally, was a great college player and everything else, made one of the biggest blunders on social media yesterday about when he's talking about the Boston Celtics. He said, "Congratulations to the Boston Celtics for hiring their first black head coach." And he gave kudos and everything else. Now, anybody knows anything about basketball knows Bill Russell was their first black coach, and that was back in the 60s, and he got hired in 66. Now, then he jumped on and said, "Oh, somebody hacked my Twitter account and everything else." Now, do you believe him? What's your thought on this, Rodney? What's your thoughts on this, Rodney?
Hey, whether I don't believe him, I think it's a great lie. I mean, if you're going to tell a lie, tell a good one. Hey, say it with your chest. And if you was wrong, hey, man, you know what? They hacked my account. Matter of fact, I'm going to use it for my wife. Yeah. What time you get in last night? They hacked my account, but I don't know. I don't know.
I wonder if that could work. If how women like to go through your phone and they find some pictures and some stuff. I'll be like, somebody hacked my account.
They hacked my account, man. Look at this.
So, Cal,
why would I be looking at that?
I don't even like my titties like that. Her ass is way too big.
Look at that. I don't even mess with BBW.
Tyler, what do you think, man? You believe him?
No, I'm gonna tell you why. If somebody hacks your account,
somebody hacked my account.
They're gonna hack your account just to say that. The whole point of hacking accounts is to get something out of it. They got nothing. It probably took me 12 hours to hack an account, and I finally get in and I go, first black coach. Who's next? Who else? No, I don't believe it. But like Rodney said, that's a good comeback. You got to say something.
Somebody hacked my account.
Man, what you think?
Hey, to Jay Williams, God bless him. It also, lends to power the fact that, obviously sometimes we're not as big as students of the game as we could and should be. And obviously he's got caught in that weird space. What had happened was,
Right.
So he's sitting around like, they got me. Look, sir, it's okay, bro. Just come on there and tell everybody you really don't know your history like you could and should. And it's all right. We forgive you. It happens to the best of us.
His account got hacked. You know who hacked it? Bill Russell.
Where did this stuff come from?
God, the funny thing is I was like, man, Doc Rivers was the coach of the Celtics in your lifetime too. You know what I mean?
As well.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
And at least
yes,
Doc
sir.
Rivers, that way you'd be like, oh, I forgot, you know what I mean? But damn, you forgot Doc Rivers too? That was literally less than 10 years ago.
Come on, man. The man got a little PTSD. Hey, give me your hacker's number, Rodney. Can you give me your hacker's number?
Rodney, we try to keep this a family show. Brother, you try to get me all all right. He get me all hot and bothered over here. Let's cut it out, Rodney. Cut it out, Rodney. All right, so here's the next thing, man. I said yesterday.
Who hacked my account?
I said yesterday on yesterday's show, Rodney, that you missed. I said the Milwaukee Bucks were going to lose at least 2 to 3 games to the Atlanta Hawks. I said it yesterday on the show. Everybody necessarily didn't believe me, but
I said 1 or 2. I only said 1 or 2. You said 2 or 3.
Yeah, and I'm still going to stick with 2 or 3. And after last night's showing, I think they will get 2 or 3. Everything else. But Rodney,
what type of pick is that? You got to pick the series if you're going to pick the series.
I picked.
I got the Bucks.
Rodney, I picked what I picked.
Frank, you picking Atlanta to win?
No, I picked the Bucks to win, but we were talking about how many games they're going to lose because the whole topic of the conversation was when people like Charles Barkley were saying the Bucks are going to sweep the Hawks. I was like, the Bucks are not going to sweep the Hawks.
You saying the Bucks in 7?
I said the Bucks in 6 or 7. Yeah.
Which one? 6 or 7, Frank?
I said 6. All right, I'll go with 7. Bucks in 7. How about that?
First of all, Frank, have you realized that Charles Barkley has never been right with his sweeps?
Yeah, he's never right.
No, he's
never been right.
He picked the LA game. He picked that right.
No, but not on his sweeps though.
No, he's always wrong.
He's always wrong.
Around here. Yeah, he's always wrong.
Yeah, as soon as he says something, whatever come out of his mouth is automatically wrong. So, Rodney Perry, what do you think about the Hawks' chances in this series? What are you thinking about the Hawks' win last night?
I'm picking the Hawks to win.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm picking the Hawks to win.
Wow.
Okay. So 7 games.
Somebody really did hack your account.
You want to talk more about the game last night, Rodney Perry, or you want to just leave it at that? What's your thoughts about the game last night? What do you think about that?
I mean, them boys are scrappy, man. You gotta. I was in me and my daughter. I was spending time. I'm in Houston, spending time with my daughter, and we were sitting there watching the game, man. And I'm like, these boys gonna win. Ain't nobody in the world pick Atlanta to win but Atlanta, and they proven series after series, time after time, they are the most in shape. They're the fastest, and they make timely shots. That's the recipe for winning, man. And I don't know. Y'all look at Giannis' face. He don't look like he got it all in there. He ain't all there. He look tired to me. Anybody else?
Rodney, I will say this before I throw it to talent. I'll say this. One thing that people aren't talking about is Nate got those boys playing fundamental basketball. They moving that ball around, and those boys are hitting their open shots. You know what I mean?
They playing like the WNBA.
Yeah, well, you could say that. I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, no, that's a great analogy. Because
Nate McMillan coach the WNBA.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
These guys are playing fundamentally sound. They're playing their position, and their closer over there in Milwaukee. What was he at?
Not only that, talent. They are falling for the teardrop. Trey is dropping that teardrop on them all game until you stop.
But here's the thing. Rodney makes a great point. Nate coached the WNBA. and they got them playing exciting, fundamental basketball like the WNBA. I guarantee you, if you test the team right now, everybody's going to come up low in testosterone. I put money on it. But here's the thing, though. The reason why I didn't let that like change or alter what I'm thinking the outcome of the series is going to be is because last night's game, Trae Young had one of those in a zone, can't do nothing wrong type of games. There is no defensive plan or no coaching that can combat that. When great players get into those zones, that's it. I call it the Jordan and Magic Johnson when they do the shoulder shrug. Like they're like, I don't even know what's going on, man. Everything's dropping. That's the kind of game Trae Young had. He's not going to have that 7 times. He's not going to have that 6 times. That's one of those anomaly type of games that every great player has. Fortunate for him, it was an away game. He was able to steal some momentum as far as the series home and away games. So that being game 1 was great for the Hawks. So now that he did that, I'm guaranteeing this is going to go about 6. You know what I mean? I thought it was only going to go 5, but that he took the first game, I think so. Let me see that. Is that the WNBA?
Yeah, it's WNBA. Well, Talent, to your point, before I throw it to a man, all he got to do is do it 3 more times, bro. He ain't got to do it 6 times. He ain't got to do it 7
But no,
times.
he's not gonna have that kind of game. Is my point. My point is those games are very special. He's gonna have solid, good Trae Young game. He's Trae Young. He's good. He's proven. If there's anybody out there still left on some doubting Trae Young stuff, kill yourself because you missed the boat. He is arrived. He's bona fide. He's official. He's consistent. But last night's 48 was something special.
Okay,
he was hitting shit falling into the bleachers.
How about this guy before we move on? I know we got to move on. How about this? It ain't just him, though. Like, the last game in that last series, he scored 11 points. You know what I mean? Like, he made 11 assists, but he scored 11 points. And then the other guys stepped up and made all them timely shots. These guys are scrappy. They're fundamental. Yeah. They beat you at certain positions. And they're lucky as hell.
And they're playing team basketball. They're moving that
they're
ball.
Lucky. They're lucky, too.
I don't know if it's luck, but it definitely looks like coaching. Amir, what's your thoughts on this, bro?
You know, again, man, this is one of those situations where, everything that you guys have said is right. The only, thing that I'm trying to figure out is 2 things. Why, nobody's really putting as much pressure on this kid as they could possibly put on him. And I mean, the same way that PJ Tucker was all over Kevin Durant in that last series, he's going to have to bring that to this series. You're going to have to just try to wear this kid down. Now, obviously, he's young, so his energy level is way better than PJ Tucker's and anybody else's probably on the entire Milwaukee Bucks team. But they're going to need to kind of try to put that same sort of pressure on him in order to just see if they can wear this kid down. I don't think that it's possible because I think he's too young and he's too talented. But I really do like the way that they're playing the game. And, Milwaukee, obviously, what's the name had Middleton didn't have, such a great game yesterday. He had an okay game. And I think they're going to have Middleton and Holiday and Giannis be impeccable for that entire series in order for them to come out of there with with that series.
Here's the real question, and I'm gonna ask all 3 of you this real question. Here's the real question. I'll start with you, Rodney Perry. Is it possible the Milwaukee Bucks just overlooked the Atlanta Hawks and said, you know what, we're not even paying these dudes no mind. We looking towards the finals. Is that possible? Because I think the way they played last night, it seemed like they didn't pay any attention to the Atlanta Hawks who's standing right in front of them. What you think, Rodney?
Is it possible that they overlooked them? Absolutely. Should they ever overlook a professional team? No. I mean, These guys are still men, and they come out and they lace them up and they put their shoes on. They go on that court. And how about this? They in the same place you have. I told my neighbor, she was like, "Rodney, you're a comedian, and you got a nice, you're doing good, huh? Oh yeah, I live next door to your ass."
Yes, sir.
But something to be said for being there.
Right.
These guys are there just like y'all there. And guess what? Them, I seen fear. I seen fear in some Buckeyes.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Rodney. I saw fear in all their faces last night. They didn't realize what they ran into last night. Talent, I'm going to throw you the same question, man. Is it possible the Milwaukee Bucks overlooked the Atlanta Hawks? Didn't pay these dudes no mind. What you think, Talent? Can't hear you.
I would almost bet they did. Absolutely. You are the favorite by a lot. No, like Rodney said, the only person that gives Atlanta a chance to win is Atlanta. So that sometimes that alone, your odds affects your mental. Boxers do it all the time. Oh, you're gonna knock him out. You're gonna knock him out. And you start believing the press clippings, you're reading all your press clippings, you believe the hype, and you get in there and you don't realize this dude could fight too. Buster Douglas.
Yeah.
Yeah, a guy named Buster that got you reaching for your mouthpiece on the canvas. That's what happened to them last night. They got Buster Douglas. Not only did they take you the distance, he laid your ass out.
Right. Yeah, that's a great analogy too, because you will run into a Buster Douglas, won't you, Amir? You will run into one if you overlook it. You do be worried about the party afterwards. Go ahead, Amir.
I think the other part of this too is, we have to give a tremendous amount of credit to the coach of the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah.
He has had those gentlemen prepared the entire playoffs. I mean, obviously since he took over the team, halfway through the season, he's been doing an amazing job. But thus far in the playoffs, he's had those guys prepared night in and night out. And, while we're going to give all the players and, the guys who are out there on the court, a tremendous amount of love and respect, you got to give that coaching staff, and especially, the head coach. He's got those guys locked and loaded, and they're going to be a force to reckon with. Even if they don't come out of this series, going into next year and beyond, they're going to be a team to watch.
Well, the only bad thing I would say about Atlanta right now, and I mean this sincerely, is that the Atlanta management and ownership should be ashamed of themselves for not making Nate McMillan a permanent coach by at least announcing it right now. They should have did that, because he still has that interim head coach title on his name, and maybe they already did and maybe they didn't make it to press. But if I was them to help along with everybody loving Atlanta right now, I'd have made that announcement a long time ago. Rodney, you got to say something about that, bro, because you an Atlanta fan. You know what I mean?
I mean, here goes, man. Atlanta been losing so long. They don't want to do nothing to upset. They don't want to jinx themselves. They don't want to, so he came in and let him stay interim. If he do, McMillan, we going to pay you.
Yeah.
We don't want to jinx this shit at all.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they feel a certain amount of luck, and teams and players are superstitious too. So I would imagine that they're gonna take care of McMillan, but you feel like you playing with house money now.
But Rodney, right now, because he has that interim coach title, other teams can contact his agent and make offers. You know what I mean? If there's 5 NBA teams,
they know Nate ain't gonna jump at that right now while he in the throes of a war.
I'm not saying that he is or he isn't. All I'm saying is that there are 5 other teams right now looking for a head coach. They're also, and they will throw everything at him. Can you imagine?
If when this season over, they don't sign him, they're gonna lose him. Yes.
Exactly. But I'm saying if they don't have that signature paper signed right now, somewhere waiting for him to, at least drawn up, tell me I'm lying. Tell me they won't lose him so fast, because there's a lot of teams that will take him right now in a second, because forget about being the best black head coach. You could arguably say that he's the best head coach in the NBA right now. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, but here's the thing. Both of you guys got a great point. I'm with Rodney, you don't want to jinx anything. Any announcement right now is a distraction, especially a celebratory one. So these guys are focused. The horse put the blinders on, right? So they can focus straight ahead. And they in their focus right now, as we're all bearing witness. Then all of a sudden, on a Tuesday, we are on Nate McMillan, head coach. Now everybody, oh shit! Popping bottles and everything. Now focus is gone. I'm with Rodney. That could be a jinx. They got plenty of time. You know what I mean? I think that they're executives, and they're smart enough over there to probably have some backdoor conversations and some mano-a-mano handshakes, we're gonna take care of you, bro. Trust. Somebody might even sign a little quick non-disclosure agreement. This is a promissory note. Sign this. We got you. We just don't want to do no right now. Right now, we don't need to lose not an iota of fucking focus. They like this, man. Don't you flap one blinder. Oh, carrots. You don't want to do that.
Amir, you the resident NBA expert on amongst all of us and everything else through your relationships and everything else. What do you think is going on behind the scenes? What do you think actually happened?
I think, they are definitely locked and loaded as far as making sure he's going to be happy once all of this is said and done. The craziness about it, and, we're alluding to it, but think about it. If they mess around and he actually wins the chip, imagine the check he's going to be able to write in Atlanta and for that city and everything else. So they can't afford to rock that boat in any way, shape, or form at this particular time. They need that team. They need him to continue to do what he's been doing, which is keeping those guys in very great mental shape and prepared. And like I said, thus far in the playoffs, those guys have been incredibly, incredibly focused. And you got to give, like I said, you got to give that to Nate McMillan. He started it halfway through the season, and it seems to have just carried and gotten stronger as the season has gone along. So kudos to him.
Imagine that check, Amir. Imagine once he do this, ain't nothing he can't coach. He might mess around and coach the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, you know what the funny thing is?
They can use him.
If he mess around and just get to the finals, he can still write a big check. You know what I mean? He ain't even got to win the chip. If he just gets the Atlanta Hawks,
he's already in the money though. He's already in the money. He's in the money right now.
Yeah, he is. He definitely is. There's no doubt about it. Let's talk about, because the time is ticking on. I want to get into Suns Clippers series and everything else. Yesterday, Rodney, we were talking about that and everything else. We were talking about a possible collapse with the Clippers because the Clippers are not looking really good right now. Chris Paul is coming back. He ain't even played the first two games. If you're the Clippers right now, Rodney Perry, what you think their mindset is, mentality is? Chris Paul's coming. You know what I mean? Now, some people even predicting that the Phoenix Suns might even sweep the Clippers. You know what I mean? That talk is out there. What's your thought about the Clippers right now, mindset, Rodney Perry? What you think?
If I'm the Clippers, I ain't worried about nothing because I've already been 0-2 in 2 series in this year. So I'm like, maybe that's what this year is. I'm not second guessing it. I'm playing, and I'm just playing. I'm playing my heart out every time I walk on that court. Paul George is looking great. And these other guys, man, are knocking down shots, man. You always hear people say this to make or miss league. Well, they are making some freaking shots.
Thank you, Rodney. I appreciate that. Talent is the LA Clippers, the Denver Nuggets of last year, where they can't keep coming back. Because Denver came back 3 times last year. You know what I mean? Is that the LA Clippers this year, you think?
Yeah, man. First of all, did they find Devin Booker's face?
No.
That's what's going to be the deciding factor. Does he come in with his face? Because that face butt, that changed everything. He started dribbling slower, staying out there and everything. I think the Clippers, this is their year of just being tested after tested after tested. I mean, 2 things are going on here. As a team, collectively, like Rodney said, last 2 series, down 0-2. I remember they did it the first time, and then all the announcers were saying, well, they can't go down 2 against this team. And then they went down 2 against that team and won it.
Yeah.
They're proving that as a team. And then what they're also proving is they're bringing the worth of Paul George, PG-13, back up. Because you got to show us that you're that guy. While Kawhi's out, you have to be that guy and pull this thing off. And that's what's going on with the Clippers right now.
Okay. It's scary to be down 0-2 against the Suns, though. Amir, I can't, I wouldn't want to be down, especially with Chris Paul coming back on that team, because the Suns, out of the other 2 teams they played, it wasn't the Suns. You know what I mean? So I don't know. What's your thought, Amir?
It's so funny. I mean, obviously, again, all points taken into consideration. Bang up job by the entire Clippers team thus far in the playoffs. But here's another weird caveat. You got to give Tyronn Lue some credit here because he's missing a key player in not having Kawhi Leonard. There's no disrespect to Paul George, no disrespect to him because, as I pointed out on an earlier show, he did his thing when he was in Indiana. The problem was LeBron was in Cleveland and, on other, Eastern teams. So he couldn't get past LeBron, in that regard. In this particular situation, Tyronn Lue might be doing some of the best coaching he's ever done based off of the fact that his team and the players that he usually would have at his disposal are not at his disposal. Now, we have to give Jackson and, like you said, some of the other players a tremendous amount of credit, too, because these guys are, playing all world, and they're doing everything they can to help Paul George achieve this goal. But this is another collective effort, and it's one that we're probably going to have to look back on after all is said and done and go, wow, this was a solid effort by everybody. You know what I mean? This wasn't one or two people.
Yeah. I honestly, I think he's doing a damn good job too. He's definitely in the top 3 of the best coaches in the league too. Forget about just being black. Tyronn Lue's doing a hell of a job. Can't even knock that. Well, guess what, y'all? That's the time of the show. Before we roll up out of here, man, Talent, I want you can you please do me a favor and tell everybody about your 30-year anniversary? Because I didn't realize Ed Lover was coming in too, man. I used to love Ed Lover on Hot 97, man.
Absolutely. And what's going to blow your mind, Frank, what's going to be dope for the humor mill is a lot of people still don't know Ed Lover has dove into the game of comedy. He's been doing stand-up for probably 8-9 years now.
Yeah.
And he actually got a pretty good set. So Ed Lover be in the building, Mr. Cheeks, Roxanne Shante. We got a live band going on. We got 3 different lineups. We got a Friday night comedy lineup, Saturday night comedy lineup, and a Sunday afternoon, a farewell comedy lineup as well. We got drunk karaoke. We do that in the middle of the day on Saturday. That's very awesome. But it's a whole weekend of celebrating 30 years in the comedy game. God has blessed me to be around this long and to stay relevant this long. So July 30th, 31st, and the 1st, we'll be in Atlantic City at the Claridge Hotel, which is a dope, nostalgic hotel that's connected to the Valleys. Come on out, enjoy.
I think I want to come, Cal. I'm coming.
You can make it?
I'm going to come.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on.
That's too simple, Frank. That's too...
It's
anyway,
July.
Everybody Rodney Perry.
I may have to be in Seattle. If I don't have to be in Seattle, I'll be there. I think I got to be in Seattle that weekend.
My fingers are crossed, bro, because it'll be dope to have the whole crew together. I told Frank, and we got the crew there. We could definitely put in the itinerary a live box seat to have some fun.
That would be hot. That would be super hot.
That would be dope. Live audience.
I'm going to bring back my glass so I can see the future.
Yeah, that's going to be crazy. Anybody that didn't lock in a package or a ticket, please email me, talent@itsjustcomedy.com.
Talent, you got to make sure I get my interview with Ed Lover, man. I'm going to call you after the show. I want to talk about that.
That's a done deal. You know, that's my cousin, my second cousin.
You see, I didn't know all that, but now I know it. You know what I mean? I both get it.
29, 30, and 31, right, of July.
30th, 31, and 1st. Yep. Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Rodney, tell everybody out there how they can follow you, bro.
I mean, to find Rodney Perry Live on all social media. The YouTube is Rodney Perry Live. Hot topics today. We got some great hot topics. It's going to be crazy. There's a lot of stuff going on in real life.
Yo, I tuned into Hot Topics last night, man. I think I saw a girl crying for a second. I was like, what's going on? Like, Hot Topics was hot last night, man. I see what you're doing.
I mean, we talked about that trans, and a girl got really passionate about it, and I was like,
wow,
calm down.
Okay.
Yeah, that's when I tuned in. Like you talk about the transgender thing. I was like, oh, okay, something to learn all the time. Amir, tell everybody out there how they can follow you, bro.
I'm down there at the bottom, A-Rock Sealy on IG and Amir Sealy on everything else, Twitter, Facebook. Y'all see me, you see those guys. I'm usually hanging out with this team right here, the best team on the planet. Box seats.
I appreciate you, Amir, for filling in for Fig. Fig will be back tomorrow. Y'all, that's Amir. Fig will be back tomorrow. That's Talent. That's Rodney Perry. The name of the show is Box Seats. You can check us out on the Humor Mill every day. We're on from 1 to 2 all the time. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. And we'll see y'all tomorrow because Talent might even give away a room tomorrow. Right, Talent? Talent, can you give away a room tomorrow?
Yeah, I might do that. Look at the dog.
Okay, we see
my daughter's dog.
Yeah.
We like that. We like that. Y'all, we out. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.
Peace.